All right. Well, welcome back to another segment of Live Today Health Talk. And we are live streaming from the Streaming Inspiration Broadcast Network, being hosted by Life You Imagine Broadcasting. This is Live Today Health Talk, Tiffany D, with my co-host, Rosa J. Rosa J, give it to us.
Yes. I am here. I am here. Grateful for. How's everyone today?
All
I'm just
right.
so
All
excited to
right.
say this.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
another beautiful day, and we have another treat for you as we continue on our journey doing March Madness with financial freedom. But for our listening audience, for those of you that are listening or wish to call in, please either follow us on Facebook Live at Life You Imagine or our Facebook group, Live Today Health Talk. Send us a link as to join our page, or you can call in at 515-604-9292. So, as always, our inspirational song, that intro, mentally, physically, spiritually fit, just lifts me up each and every time we hear it. And I want to ask my co-host if she doesn't mind, before I go any further, open us up in a prayer.
Yes. Thank you, Tiffany. Father God, we come here today in gratitude. In gratitude that we can come with an open heart, that we can share what you have downloaded to us, that we may heal not only physically, but spiritually. Erase all fears of anything that may bother us. Lord, strengthen us that we hear you, do you, be you, and show you. Lord God, let nothing pass through our lips that is not to edify you and help our people. We are grateful to be your teammate, your your spokespeople. We are grateful, Father God. And we ask that you strengthen everyone for everything that they aspire to do, and that they may listen for the assistance that you are now opening and sharing with them. Let them take action to heal themselves. In the mighty name of your Son, Jesus, and in our name, as your sons and daughters, we say thank you. I say, and so it is.
Wow, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So our scripture for today will be coming from Ezekiel 36:26. And it reads, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will take the heart of stone out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. Wow, so we've been talking a lot on transformation, transforming the mindset, but that just went to our hearts also. But let me move on and not digress. So our sponsors, we have to give a shout out and a thank you as always to our sponsors. And I want to start off with my Econ, moving right along to Carrot Bars, moving right along to Total Life Changes, Longevity, and last but not least, Curves of Fort Washington. Wow, we have been on a journey together, my co-host and I, for quite a few years. And our sponsors have stuck with us, been beside us, been in our lives, increased us, raised us when we were feeling low. It's just been a family affair, and I'm so thankful. I am so thankful for my co-host and the time that we have spent together. Our mission is to provide thorough information to our listeners to make sound decisions regarding healthy choices in health, finances, and improving their lifestyles. We love to share and host with other like minded people to spread the word of total wellness. As naturalists, we believe that everyone should know that our bodies were created to heal themselves. We are committed to providing the most relevant information to encourage our listeners to embark on the opportunity to live an improved and more purposeful. I wanted to say prosperous there, but purposeful life living today is our disclaimer. So we must always remind you that no, we are not medical doctors, but the information that we share and that our guests share has been researched and has been proven. Now, again, it may not work for you, but it has been proven to be insightful and proven results as it has worked for us. Knowledge is power, and that is what we aim to do, to share with you, to make you more aware of your choices. All right. So today,
Tiffany, before you,
yes.
Tiffany,
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
before you go on,
Mm-hmm.
I want to remind everyone, power is, what is it? Power is,
knowledge is power.
Just get that. Knowledge is power, but it's only powerful if you use it.
Oh, yes. You have to adhere to it. That's right.
You have to use the power.
Yes.
Right. And so many times that's exactly what we do. We learn, but we never, ever take action on what we learn to be transformed.
Yeah.
So there's a little added. You can't just hold on to it. And that's what inspired us to do what we do. You can't hold on to the knowledge that has helped us and assisted us on this path. So just don't take in the knowledge, but take action on the knowledge. So now I open you up, my dear, to introduce our amazing guest today. Please do your thing, too.
All righty. Well, I just want to say thank you, though, because that is what inspired us to do exactly what we are doing, because we said it was just too powerful. We couldn't hold it to ourselves. And that is our charge to share. We have to go out and share. But today's guest, Dr. Trey Steger. Dr. Trey is actually retired Navy, but with a combination of 20 years experience, both federal and private industry. Her aspects are going to be coming to us from not just human resources, but financial management. She believes that to be a successful human capital management professional in this day and age, it's paramount to know the finances or the bottom line of an organization. And this experience has given her the foundation she needed to understand how money relates to people and how limited resources are applied to the mission. It sounds like just that first part resonates on what we just said so much. It's just so amazing how things come together. So I'm not going to read her entire bio, but I'm going to give you her contact information, because this amazing woman has more information to share, and it will do you no justice by me reading it. So please, we're going to repeat her information again, but I'm going to put it out there now because she's on Facebook at ATE Enterprises Consulting LLC. She's on Twitter at The Career Dr. Trey, and she's on Instagram at The Career Doctor with DR and Trey with TRE. So that's both of them for Twitter and Instagram. But with no further ado, the next voice I want to introduce you to is none other than Dr. Trey Stigar herself. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you, Tiffany and Ms. J. Thank you so much for having me on this afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here, and it is a beautiful day outside, and I am blessed of God to be on this side of the soil. Couple things. I wanted to go back. I'm a retired Navy civilian, and we serve alongside of those in uniform and contractors to serve this great country, this land in the USA. But I wanted to say something. You said something that was real key about transformational relationships and money, and I'm going to touch on that just a little bit. But we talked about, you also said something about that you were stepping all in my speech, so that's already a great thing. But we talked about use, and when one doesn't know how to use something, they wind up misusing it, which comes to abuse. Okay? So if you don't know how to use a thing, you wind up misusing it, and then you will abuse it. And then one day you will lose it. So I'm known for my alliteration, so I usually say things in 3s and 4s, and they usually rhyme, and that helps the mind to retain information. So I'm just going to just give you just a little bit of little bit of nuggets to help you get into your week, and hopefully that will help transform your life. If you so do choose to use it, I hope that you will. And play it back as often and share it as often as you so do desire. But before we get into a little bit about my company, TE Enterprises Consulting, located in White Plains, Maryland, that's down in Charles County, Maryland. I'm going to just tell you just a little bit about my background and just how I came up in the world as a little girl, being from Cincinnati, Ohio. Growing up in my background, growing up in foster homes and group homes, and being the woman I am today. And I give thanks to God for everything that He has given to me, because without Him, I would be nothing, am nothing, and is nothing, because He gets all the glory. And I will continue to say that. But why I do what I do and why I chose to help is because that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve. And why did I choose to parallel financial wellness with human capital? Because a lot of times when you have your human resources professionals and you have your at the table and they're with decision makers that affect the direct cost of any organization, it doesn't matter if you're for profit, if you're federal government, if you're in a hospital, it doesn't matter where you work. If the human resources professionals really don't understand the financial networking of the business, sometimes they fall short. So what Tiffany read in the beginning was quite accurate. So that's how I got my financial background, and that's coming straight out of from high school. When I graduated high school some years ago. So when I got into the private sector workspace, I noticed that the numbers were looking a little bit strange to me, and I always asked questions. So as a human resources professional, before I went into federal government, I always wanted to know what's the bench strength, how many heads, how much it's going to cost. So that was very important. And if you're a human capital or human resources or workforce development, all in that manpower professional, if you're in those lines of work, which they are interrelated, you do need to understand the financial side of the house. So those of you who are working for organizations. Now, let me segue just a little bit because my time is limited, and I can just stay on that point. I can do a whole workshop on that alone. I can do a whole 4 hours on that. But for those of you who have your own practices, your own businesses, if you can't scale your business properly if the finances don't work. You cannot be successful. And I'm going to tell you that I have I have failed a couple of times because I wasn't scaled properly. And that's because I didn't get the right coaching. So if you want to put this down as a little asterisk, get the right coaching, get the right mentoring. When you're scaling your business, you need to understand the financial basis of your business. Okay? Get the right coaching. Go to people who have probably failed a couple of times. And I know this is not necessarily linear to what we're talking about here, but if they failed a couple of times and now they're getting it right and now they're successful, talk to those individuals. Okay? Don't be afraid also to use your resources like Score 360 or your small business development centers to help you grow your business. If you're part of a strong network marketing arm, and Tiffany named a couple that I'm involved with, MyEcon is one of them, Vita DeVita is another one. Get that coaching. Look to your leaders in mentorship to get proper mentorship. And once you get it, and once you become successful, you got to give it back. That's the second point. You got to give it back. So understanding your finances to see how you can properly scale your business will help you in the long run. Let me see. I was going to go to a different frame, but I'm being directed to stay on that point as well. When you start to, I'm sorry, I tend to get a little free flow. I have my notes here, but when I'm led to go somewhere else because someone may need it, I don't know who's listening here, but somebody may need to hear this. Everybody doesn't need to be involved in your organization if they do not fit and if they do not want to grow. So, but I'm just going to leave that there. Okay, that wasn't that's just a little bit of nugget there for you. If they do not want to grow and if they're not on the same path, they don't necessarily need to be part of your organization at this time. Okay, at that particular time. Okay, so if anybody has any question on that, we can address that as well. And I'm not talking about the non-coachable individuals. I'm talking about sometimes people aren't ready because they don't have the vision to see where you're going in your business or in your practice. Let me go back to scaling, but I needed to say that at that point in time. Let me go back to scaling. When I began TE Enterprises Consulting, it was a sole proprietorship, and I was out in New Mexico. And we had our emphasis on career coaching because that's where my framework is. That's where I started my career. I started in human resources. I was in the training area. And I was in career coaching, career development. And so I started it from there. And then we branched off into vocal talent. Then we added another arm of financial management. We added a coaching piece and a training piece. And a couple of years ago, I've been in Maryland about a little under 10 years now. 2.5 years ago, I noticed that I was doing more counseling, and now we're moving into the mental health space. And hopefully I'll be able to give you a link here that relates financial health to mental health. And there's some statistics I might throw at you towards the end of this if we don't run out of time, to where what your financial health says about your mental health. So that's a biggie. So that's real deep here. But now my business, and like I said, I'm not afraid to step back, take a look, take direction, and rescale my business. So now I am, as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, now I'm in the mental health space, and I'm going to license to be a mental health counselor. So how that fits into the grand scheme of things, as I noticed when people came to me and asked me for, or any of my other teammates, and asked me, I would like to get my finances right, Dr. Trey. How can you help me? But I'm having this issue at home, or I'm suffering with this. That was outside of the scope of my discipline, my degrees, my training, my certifications. And I noticed that a lot of my clients were coming to me, and I had to refer them to licensed practitioners to get the mental health counseling that they need. And then they would come back to me. They say, okay, now that my mental health is straight, now I need a better job. And now I need to get my money really right. Now that I have this together, but now I need to have this, this piece together. And so what I saw in my business, and I had to take wise counsel, like I said earlier in the course of the conversation, I said I had to step back. I had to look at my business plan. I had to go before some some wise counselors and some coaches, and they looked at my business plan and they looked at the scope of my business and seeing some of the things that I was doing. They said, you know what, you're doing more mental health, and what you're doing is great and it's good, but you look like you're doing a little bit of vocational rehabilitation as well, and the community really could use this and this, but here's the scope of your business. Mm-hmm. Take the fear out of your business. If you're afraid to step out there on faith, you will never grow. I don't know who that's for, but that's for somebody as well. You won't grow. You won't be able to grasp the financial end if you're afraid to step out there on faith. You wouldn't believe how many people come to me and they say, I want to set an appointment with you. And then when I tell them there's a fee to sit with me because your business is valuable and your time is valuable. I'm sorry, I'm giving it to you straight on a Sunday. I have to give it to you straight, you guys. So
we
on
could
a
have
Sunday.
it no other way. We could have it no other way. So you roll right
okay.
on.
Okay. So there's no. This is not a transactional call. This is not a translational call. This is a transformational call. Okay. So, because what I heard you say in the beginning is that you're in the process of this is about transforming folks' lives. Am I correct? Am I right?
Okay. Yes, so, you are so correct.
Okay. So when I speak to individuals and they're telling me about their issue and how I can help solve a problem, because that's why I'm in business, is to help solve an issue, problem, a dispute, however you want to call it. And I'm there to help. I'm not there to be buddy. I'm there to get you to where you need to be, to help you get to the next level, and hopefully that you can pass it on to others. Let me see what else I wanted to say before I pass it back to our gracious host here. I wanted to touch upon partnering. And then before I give it back, I'm gonna give you something, just a little bit of a tidbit for you to take home with you. Partnering with other business owners, other practices. If you were a nail salon, it wouldn't hurt for you to partner with a beautician or a cosmetologist, someone that does hair. Power partners make position for the promise. Okay, write that down. Don't be afraid to partner. One thing that I see businesses fail in, and where you're not financially healthy, is that people are afraid to partner. A lot of it is because of someone's trying to outdo someone else. Now, I know we're talking about being financially healthy or what have you, and this may not align directly. Well, you know what? Yes, it does. It does align directly to it. Because when you help someone else financially come up and they see that you're partners, you come up with them. Okay? You can be your sister's keeper or your brother's keeper. I don't know where that came from, but it's coming out today. But if you're a nail salon, it doesn't hurt to get a great hairdresser. It doesn't hurt to know a caterer, and you all brand and branch and build your businesses together. Okay? So I pride myself in partnering. And that goes back to how I had to rescale my businesses. I have worked with individuals who provide mental health services, those individuals who provide services for administrative support. I've worked with individuals in the vocal talent industry. Those types of parallel partners for my business has helped me be humble and be successful, because sometimes they offer services better than I can. They offer them because they're better if that's their mainline business or practice, or they just happen to be their availability, but yet we can share. Because let me tell you something, there's enough out there for everyone. Okay? Or sometimes I have to refer, and not necessarily for a referral fee, but there's something for everyone. Okay. And don't be afraid if a customer may not come to you. Okay. Because every customer is not your customer. That's something for somebody today as well. Okay. All right. Everybody will eat. It's just how you eat. And how you're branding your business. Branding, that's another conversation. I know that's another talk for another day. I'm not going to get into that. Y'all have, okay. We'll talk about branding and advertising and who to talk to and where you get customers and how you do that and how to do it ethically. Ethics, that's a whole nother topic as well. That's a 5-hour course with CEUs attached to it. We'll talk about that another day as well. Some of these topics are standalones. Truly they are. But being financially healthy is a mindset, is a true mindset. You have to continue to say, I will be financially healthy. Okay. I will be disciplined to do, let's say, for example, and I'm just throwing this out there. This is for example purposes. Okay. I will save $5,000 by Christmas. And I'm just putting that out there. I will be disciplined not to go get the extra large Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which sounds good about right now. And I will put that $3-4 to the side every day. I mean, these are small examples, but $3-4 can add up if you're doing it 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. Okay, so financial health starts small. Okay, financial wellness starts small, and then also with that goes back to another thing that I spoke about earlier, is about partnering and positioning yourself for the promise. Also, I've noticed with other businesses, if they partner, sometimes they'll find out that they'll save money because they won't be overworked and they're working smarter. Okay? When they find out that their business partner is better at doing this, or their main focus is to, let's say, if they're their stronger administrative arm, then, you can focus your efforts on something else. Okay? And you'll see that the lion's share, the harvest will come into you much greater, because the duties, the responsibilities, the wealth is shared. Okay. And the harvest is greater and diversified. Okay. Is shared. Okay. One other thing I want to talk about before I hand it back, and I know we're supposed to speak a little bit more about my story. Like I said, my story is a little bit longer, but I really wanted to hit hard on just some of the key points of just about being a business owner and being someone who's in private practice, some of those hard nuggets. One other thing I wanted to talk about really is being humble. You have to be humble. You cannot go into business thinking you know everything, because the world changes in a blink. I remember when, and some of you might remember too, when there were no cell phones. I remember carrying a pager. I remember flip phones. You have to be humble to the process. Some things do not grow overnight. I mean, I have people coming to me and they want to set up their LLC, their S Corp, their corporation, their nonprofit. And I'm not a nonprofit specialist. If you ever want a great nonprofit specialist, I can always recommend one. Write that down. I can always recommend someone. But the thing is, you have to be humble to the process and know that it will work. So I think that you know that it will work in good timing, and great planning is important. And know who you can sit down and plan with. And I've named a few organizations that are out there. The Small Business Development Center, also Score 360. Get some great mentors and know who is in your corner, because that's another thing. Everybody's not in your corner. That's a whole nother topic too. Be careful who you share your business with. Okay. Yeah. Y'all laugh. That's a 10-hour workshop. But be careful who you share your business with, because everybody is not in your corner. And I learned that the hard way too. I had so many ideas, and I was giving ideas and giving money away. I don't mind sharing, but I would like some credit as well every now and then. And I would like to be included in some projects with some folks. But that, like I said, that's another workshop, another phone call for another day. Once you go through a season in your business and you know you need to rescale, sit back and take some time off to reflect on the wins and the areas of opportunities. Okay? Be willing to sit back and look at it and say, you know what? This is where I need to grow. This is what I need to do in the next season. Be willing to be humble and take a look at those things. So I think that's how I have, and being financially healthy is a continual process. It's not a one-time thing. It's a continual mental process. And before I turn it back over, because I know I'm a time minder as well, I went on psychologytoday.com, and this is where I'm getting this article from. It says what your financial health says about your mental health. And this article is about 4 years old, 4 years old. So I will look for some more data on this, but it's still pretty much applicable. And the percentages haven't changed too much. 35% of Americans have delinquent debt. And this was a 2014 survey. I think it's up to about 38, 39% now, a little under 40%. And that was a report published by the Urban Institute. Okay. We have credit card bills. We have credit card balances, medical bills, and unpaid utilities. I'm just taking a piece out of that article. But what it goes on to say, and I'm just paraphrasing here, it says what your financial health says about your mental health. Okay. Now, debt and mental health, it says approximately 1 in 5 adults experience a mental illness each year. And that's by the National Institutes of Health. But the greater a person's financial debt is, it's really linked, and it's clinically linked to having depression and anxiety and psychotic disorders were among common mental illnesses people in debt experienced. Now listen to this. I'm going to read this verbatim. Researchers concluded the likelihood of having a mental health problem is 3 times higher among people who have debt. I don't know if I should repeat that, but researchers concluded the likelihood of having a mental health problem is 3 times higher among people who have debt. Depression, anxiety disorders, and psychotic disorders were among the common mental illnesses people experience, those that have debt. And I'm reading that right from that website by a published authority. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with that. And I know that's a segue to a different conversation. I'm going to toss it back over to our gracious host. So I hope I gave you a little bit about me and gave you just a few nuggets.
A few?
Right. I told you I was going to give you a few.
Yes. Okay. But that last topic that you just said, I am not surprised. because you've got debt will bog you down in so many different areas. So I'm not surprised there. But for time's sake, Rosa J, did you have anything before I go back to our questions on all of these nuggets that were just dropped? Did you have anything to chime in on or to reiterate or to ask something further?
Actually, no, except I wanted to remind everyone that this lady is on point. So when we go into our questions, please take out your pencil and paper if you have not already put down the little nuggets that she gave you, because, in fact, I know from, like she says, personal, personal work that I've done, that it takes a lot of coaching, it takes a lot of partnerships, it takes a lot of non-fear activity. You cannot grow when you're in fear. That's just the way it is. And it says in the Bible, fear not. Have no fear. Have faith. And I believe she has pretty much started our whole process of reminding people of who she is. And so let's get on in with the question. So may I start this? Well, no, you can start it, Tiffany.
No, I'm gonna say go right ahead, but I just wanted to reiterate our number again. As we go on, and we do get any callers that want to call in or chime in on our Facebook page to post their questions. So Facebook is Live Today Health Talk, or the call-in number is 515-604-9292. And I'll ask our engineer just to tap in and let us know if we have anyone waiting before we proceed.
Very good. So now you told us all, Dr. What should I call you?
Dr.
Shayla or
just Trey? Trey is good enough.
Trey.
I'm good. I'm real good.
Thank you. Because I have some people have issues with not being called for the things that they have done, but I'm glad. First name basis always kind of makes you connect. Or makes me connect. Mm-hmm. So now you told us all the things that people have done or what they do when they work with you, but you haven't told us exactly what you do for them. We've talked about, you talked about what people need to do or should do or should not do. But if someone came to you as a client, what do you offer them?
Okay. And I'm going to go back to some of my business model. We help people with, actually, I'm an organizational development consultant by trade. That's what I do. That is moving into a clinical mental health role. That's what I do. All right. But so far as from a company standpoint, we have the 5 business arms that I discussed earlier. And so when I give people that, they start to pick like from a menu. It's like, oh, I need that. Oh, I need some financial help. I need this. I need a resume. I need all of those things. But if I had to sum it up in a nutshell, is I help you where you need to grow. I help you where you need to grow. And how can I serve you?
All right. So that sounds like a good assessment, and you target it once they start telling you. So wow, all around.
Do you find that when people come, do you find that most of your clients come to you not knowing? They may have an idea, but they have nowhere to start. Or do you help people who already have businesses?
It depends, and that's a more poignant. That's a good question. When people don't know where to start, they have businesses, and if they want to become, let's say, certified as a woman-owned, or veteran-owned, or MBE, if they want, or minority business enterprise, let me not use acronyms here. If they want to go down that track, then yes, then that's a business discussion, then that's a consultation, and we sit down and do that. Let's say, for example, let me elaborate just a little bit more on if someone's looking, they said, Trey, I'm looking to get into the federal government, and I know you worked in federal government for many, many years, and I need to put together a federal government resume. Can you help me with the steps? I'm licensed as a certified federal job search trainer. So we go through those steps. We can do that. So it depends on, like I said before, it depends on what the needs of the clients are, whether they be individuals, small groups, or corporate clients. So there's different avenues, different ways that I serve.
Very good. So you seem like you have a 360-degree business that you're open to clients who know what they want to do, clients that don't know what they want to do, and you have a menu of things that they may need to start their process.
Right.
Most of your clients.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You say.
No, I was going to say, and in the event that is something that is better scaled, or better scoped in another business, I will tag, like I told you about partnering, I will tag someone else. I'm good at, I specialize with assessments. And I will help someone get an assessment if they don't know what they want to do. Like, for instance, the strong interest survey or the DISC assessment. And those are career assessments. And someone needs to outline exactly really what they want to do. Let's say it's a midlife career changer. Let's say someone's gotten out the military, they worked for an organization for a couple of years, and they want to start their own business. And they also want to, let's say, get a private industry job. So we'll work through those using those tools. But if they're a veteran and they want to access those resources, I will tell them where to go and how to access those resources if they don't already know, or if they're a little bit unsure on where to go.
Wow, that DISC assessment, I actually applied for a position one time before with a nonprofit, and they gave me that assessment. I guess trying to see if I was a right fit for them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And more organizations are doing that before you enter the organization. They'll give you, there's so many assessments out there. They'll give you a questionnaire of sometimes, and folks, don't be afraid if you get a questionnaire like, why are they asking me 50 million questions? Do I like working with people? Do I like working in groups? Strongly agree. Less to that, neutral. It's to see if you fit with an organization. It's becoming more of not only a competency-based, but really a personality-based system to see if you really fit. Because most people do not apply for positions if they don't already have the skill set. Entry level is a little bit different, but if you're mid-career, executive level, you're going to already have the working tools to do the position that you're applying for. But that personality, the interpersonal skills are key. They are key.
Yes, you have to know how to work with the team.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did you first become interested in starting your own business? What motivated you to do what you did?
This goes back to part of my background story. A couple of foster homes that I lived in, and I'm very grateful to them for having a part in my rearing. They were entrepreneurs. They were, and still are. They had their own businesses. One of the foster homes I lived in is a barber. It still is. Been one for over 60 years, literally 60 years. And wife was a caterer. So I was taught way back then that to have your own is important. And you shouldn't be broke if you have your own. And that's somewhat of a Southern saying. You look, if you got your own, you shouldn't be broke because you control your money. But then when I got into the real world of work, I noticed that there was a need for some services that were lacking in the community or that wasn't their primary niche. And so I said, you know what, this is my primary niche, i.e. at that time it was assessments. And I said, you know what, I can offer this. And so that's what drove me to start my own business. And then people started coming to me and they asked me, could I help them do this? Or can you help me give me assessment? Can you do my resume? Can you come MC my event? It really started from there. So that's really what got me started.
I see. That sounds like a great. I noticed that you said that you were grateful for your background, for the way that you were brought up. So could you give us a little bit of your background? Like, you mean get into the first? If it's not
well, I'd like to say just the mere fact that she shared it and doesn't mind sharing it and then gave credit to her foster parents, that's amazing right there. That is amazing because I hear so many stories the other way, So thank you for being transparent and sharing that part. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I think, and that goes into what motivates me too, because I do see a lot of emancipated or former foster kids especially those of African American descent. As an African American woman, it's part of my way of giving back and instilling hope into the community, and being a business owner, and considering myself a woman who is living and thriving and a survivor of different things that life has thrown at her. I think I'm answering your question, but I think it is a testament to some of the different false homes I lived in, to show them that, yeah, the tools that you provided to me, the hammer, the proverbial hammer, and the screwdriver, I've taken those tools and I've used them to build and sustain an empire. I know that's a little overused, but at the same token, here's what you've given me, and now I'm using it, and I'm willing to share it with others.
And I got to say, wow, right there, wow. Like you said, that's even for children in the home with their mother and father. Wow, how many of them? Because nowadays, a lot of our children don't want to build legacies. They don't want any part of the family business. So I'm so grateful that you were able to take that hammer and the screwdriver and build, as you said, that empire. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you do.
Right. And I want to say something else, and this is for whoever's listening. You know, just because you're part of a situation that may not be, and I'm putting this in quotes, typical, doesn't give you excuse for mediocrity. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's coming out of me. You have the tools. You can access folks. You can access folks to help you get to the next level. You can do it. You can do it. That's for someone out there. You don't necessarily have to have, $20 million to define success, because you define success, whatever that looks like for you.
Very good. There's nothing that can hold you back if you decide to do something different. Nothing.
Not a thing.
The only thing that holds you back is self.
That's right.
So,
absolutely.
Tiffany?
Yes, ma'am. So many times.
Do you have
yeah. So if I can, I'm looking at our time, and I just want to ask, breaking free while in the rat race. Can we talk about that? Because that was when when I first approached you, we started having dialogue. So go ahead, take it.
Okay, let me tell you, and this is funny. I said, I got my issues too. So, but when I decided to break free from the rat race, and I know that's coined by the cash flow quadrant. Yes, I do love Robert Kiyosaki. Yes, I do. I got the game. I got all the books, with the exception of one. But he's one of my proverbial mentors. So I got a couple others as well. But when I decided to break free from the rat race is when I decided to get my mind right. I know that's a loaded answer, but when I decided to get my mind right and look at what I did not need to have, I knew I could become free. Okay? Mm-hmm. I knew I was on my way to being honest with myself and say, okay, I had to call myself out. I had to call myself, by my long name. I had to get it out there. I said, you know what? This is what's honest. This is what I am doing. I had to own my own stuff. And I said, then you'll be free. And that's anything. That's anything that you do. Anything that you do. So what I had to do, there's some physical things I had to do. I had to, stop buying the newest purse. I had to, start. And I started this conversation with, Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Now I got to taste for Dunkin' Donuts coffee. But I had to be able to give up some things or slide some things to the right in order to get myself right financially. Okay. And I have to do that quite often still today. But it's my mind that I had to get right, the mindset right, in order for me to get out the rat race. Because if your mindset isn't right, you'll be going like a hamster in a wheel.
So it sounds like success comes from mindset. Huh?
Yeah, yep, it sure does. It sure does. I mean, if I give you $1,000 and sure you pay all your debt off, but your mindset hasn't changed, what's going to happen? You're going to be back in that again and again and again. Once again, it's like the hammer and the screwdriver. I know it's hammer and nail, but screwdriver, two different tools, to help to create something. But if you use those tools and you continue to use them, you will be free, and it will be constant, and it will be in the forefront of your mind. That can be vision boarding. That can be being diligent and getting on this call on a weekly basis to get constantly fed by mentors who come on our business owners, and it could be from supporting another business and listening to that good coaching that you get to get your mind right. It could be a whole lot of things. That's how I continue to do it over the last 25 years, since I was 17 years old, back in Ohio. So that's how I do it. I continue to do it every day. It's a daily thing for me.
I hear you. It's a daily thing.
Yeah, it's got to be daily, because the moment you stop, it is so easy to go back to what used to be, because for some reason it's that comfort zone. So the moment you stop, yeah. Well, I want to say thank you so much. My goodness. Let's see. Did we have anything else? Because I think we basically covered anything. You told us about one of your mentors, but what's your vision? What's next for Dr. Trey? What is next?
What's next for Dr. Trey? I tell you, what's next for me? I told you I'm rescaling my practice because I'm moving more into the clinical mental health area, because it's so needed in our communities. It really is. So what's next for me is that I'm in school. I am pounding the pavement. I'm listening to that voice in the back of my head, is to continue to be humble and continue to grow strategically by continuing to learn and give to others in so many ways, by providing nuggets like this, but also by learning the correct practices to do things in that particular line of work. So that is really what's next. So I ask all the listeners to stay tuned, because there's another chapter coming, and y'all don't want to miss that. Y'all won't miss it.
I know that's right.
And you asked me about my mentors. One of my mentors is, and I mentioned a big guru already, but my mentors is two of the foster homes I lived in, and they're still back in Ohio. Those are my constant mentors, are the people that helped raise me to be the woman I am today. So that's the two households. Another mentor is past experience, because I know we're talking about physical people, but I look at some of the people who have crossed my life, and I take every experience as a mentoring experience. So, I mean, I can name some big ones like Oprah, and I can talk about Tyler Perry, and I can go, large and in charge. And of course I could do that, but I look at the everyday mentors that come across you in those nuggets. I can talk about in my econ business. I can talk about Keith Tucker and Spencer LaCapra. And I can also, like I said, I can go a long list. And you're hanging with your girl, Latasha Carpenter. There's so many. The list is almost endless for me. But I also continue to take opportunities where I can give back and grow.
Amen, amen. And the past is the mega one right there. So for our listening audience, first of all, we'd like to thank you for being with us this evening. If you want to follow Dr. Trey, again, we're going to give out her information to contact her. Her Facebook page is TE Enterprises Consulting, LLC. Her Twitter and Instagram are at The Career Dr. Trey. And that's for Twitter and Instagram. Did you have any other contact information that you wish to give out that we haven't done so already?
Actually, that's it. And all that information is on there. You can just look from there.
Yes, and we've put it in the feed for this show also. So if you didn't get a chance to copy it, go back and listen to the show and take some more notes, because I'm sure that you'll hear something that you missed the first time around. So again, thank you, Dr. Trey. Thank you to my co-host, Rosa J., and our engineer, Takia. Thank you to our listening audience. And as we near to our close, Rosa or Dr. Trey, did you have anything else before I close us out for this evening?
Thank you for having me.
All right.
And we thank you for showing up, Dr. Trey. I love it. I love what you said, and I hope and pray that somewhere you have inspired others to do what you've done. In spite of, it's not where you started, it's where you end up that's most important. So I want to say thank you, and I hope that we have a physical meeting someday.
Okay. Yes, you continue to be blessed for all that you are doing. So as we near our close, we want to take the time to again thank you. Thank you for joining us. That is Live Today Health Talk with Charlene D., Rosa J., and Tiffany D. We hope that something we shared, or we know that something we shared, will help you in your life's journey through sickness and in health, because our motto is you cannot have your wealth without your health. Join us next Sunday at 5 p.m. as we continue to share the health message for March Madness on financial freedom. Until next time, remember, your health is your wealth. You have one body. Take care of it. Thank you to our listening audience. All right, ladies. Have a great one.
See you next one. Yes, see you next Sunday.
All right.
Be glad.